Good evening, everybody. Welcome to REP Paranormal and Friends. Tonight we have Joe Diamond, and as always, Paranormal Buzz Radio is not responsible for anything that is said on here. And please check us out on paranormalbuzzradio.com. Here's Kim and Allison.
Hi, welcome everybody to another night of REP Paranormal and Friends. Like Shay had said, we have an awesome guest tonight, okay? He has been the longest artist in residence at the Joel Mansion in Crystal Lake, Illinois. You are the official mind reader at Maxwell Mansion in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And also, both of these places are haunted, so you also do some paranormal investigating as well. Yep. But you've also were able to solve a corn maze blindfolded, like one of the biggest ones. Exactly. Yeah. And you were able to get into, like, what, the Pentagon? Like, you unlocked their codes?
Yeah, we could tell that story in a little bit. Okay. There's like many stories that start with I got contacted by the Pentagon. There's many layers. So yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. I'll explain exactly what happened.
Yes, so absolutely. So we have, like I said, Joe Diamond, the greatest mind reader. I actually had the opportunity and the pleasure to join one of his virtual shows, which is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
He will blow your mind. So you guys need to pay attention, ask questions, whatever you want. Hopefully he can interact with some of us as well. We do have one guinea pig here, so that's waiting in the wings for whenever we're ready to kind of do some of these things. So perfect. Welcome, Joe Diamond. Woo!
Thank you so much for having me. Yes. Again, like you had one of the most unique objects ever in my Zoom show. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I do psychometry readings where people hold up personal items, and I've gotten like photos of loved ones, and gemstones, and you had like a lamp made of beer and beer cans, and it was awesome. It's the great sign of my life.
It was the closest thing I had.
That's fine. And then we tested your psychic ability as well, and you were off the chart. And I'm excited to chat all things strange and unusual tonight with you.
Absolutely. So can you kind of give us a little bit of background on yourself? How did you come about knowing that you have these abilities?
I was a weird kid. Before I got into all this stuff, I was an only child, and just for example, I was always an old soul. When I was about like 5, 6, 7, I read The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells for the first time, and I remember reading the book, but my grandmother tells the story, and I don't remember it, but she says it was The Invisible Man, and I remember reading that as a kid. But the way she describes it is I was sitting on the steps reading that book, and all my other cousins, who I was playing with earlier, were still like chasing each other around, and they all like piled on top of one another, and then got up and ran away. And apparently this was so chaotic, it took my eyes off my book, and I looked at them, and apparently I looked at my grandmother and went, where do they get the energy? And that's before I got into, and then that's before I was into the weird stuff. So I was always such a weird kid.
Yeah.
I was a Ghostbuster for Halloween. I was interested in, sci-fi and time travel and ghosts, UFOs. When I read about crop circles and realized they were real, apparently real, or there were real occurrences of them. I looked into, how some people faked them, how some still weren't explained. And, along the way, I had a lot of different interests. So like every, 7-year-old, I got a magic set for Christmas. I did improv in high school, and I did some theater, and my great-grandmother taught me how to read playing cards, just like tarot cards, and I would interpret dreams for friends. And again, I was an only child. I also went to a very, very small religious school where, I didn't realize, because it was so small, I graduated out of class 2. So that's how small it was.
Oh my gosh.
Prom was very awkward with him. But it's fine. Not because he was a guy, but because we hated each other's guts.
Yeah.
We didn't have a prom, actually. I went to prom with my girlfriend who went to a regular school. But because I was like so isolated at first early on,
Right.
I didn't realize how weird all this stuff was, and I kind of just, it was just like stuff I was into. No different than like my friends who were into Pokemon cards. I was into getting books from the library about Aura. And the great thing about all those books, those metaphysical books, they have big words in them. But so by the time I got to second grade, I had a 12th grade reading level, which sounds impressive. I still have a 12th grade reading level, so
Oh my god.
And so I started doing mind reading at Six Flags Great America theme park just north of Chicago. I was hired to like walk around and do street performing, and I could do anything from mind reading to palm reading to sideshow stunts like hammering a nail in my nose. And I finished out high school with that. And after high school, I started doing theater shows in Chicago. I did a mind reading. I was the mind reader in a show called The Magic Cabaret. It was me and a more traditional magician who told some spooky stories and like would make stuff appear and disappear. And then I'd come out and read minds and people's foods. And the Travel Channel picked up the top magic shows. There was only one of the Midwest shows in. One in Florida, one in New York, and all the rest were in Las Vegas. So I was really excited.
Man.
And again, like, I didn't see much of a difference in all this stuff when I was it just was cool. And so I was much, into my I can start incorporating all this weird stuff I did into my work. And like Philip Watterson, the creator of Calvin and Hobbes, said, the more personal you make something, ironically, the more universal it is. So like the weirder I got, like when I started doing shows at the Dole Mansion in Crystal Lake, it's an arts park, so there's cleaners, musicians, and there's also people who like massage therapy, and actually the doors down to someone who does energy and chakra and all that. So when I started there, I thought like, okay, this is gonna be like my weird little side hustle with my corporate. But I started doing weekly shows there, and they took off. And up until the pandemic, they were sold out every week. When the pandemic hit last year, I transitioned to online, doing virtual shows for people all over the world. I did some for companies like LinkedIn and some vineyards and companies in the UK and Ireland. And I also did ticketed events.
Yeah.
I'm starting to do in-person shows again. I'm solid for the summer, pretty much every single day with in-person events. I'll be back at the Maxwell Museum, Geneva, Wisconsin, that you mentioned before. It's a gorgeous boutique hotel, and it's actually the last stop of the Lake Geneva Ghost Tours. So it's like a spot in that town for all sorts of paranormal occurrence. And then in the autumn months, I'll be bringing the virtual shows and everything else. But I'm excited to dive back into performing in person. And the virtual shows have been really fun because I've always felt like people have been drawn to my work who were, not just interested in the strange and mysterious, but like have encountered it themselves. And I encourage that in the show. There's some people use pendulums, and we do a seance during the show. There's times where I'm putting other into it, using tarot cards. We're doing stuff with everyone, and that's kind of fun to make everyone feel connected, especially after this last month where we've all been isolated.
Right, yeah. And the thing about you being able to do these virtual ones is you've traveled all over the world from not even have to leave your home.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's don't get me wrong, like it's nice to like not have to leave the house to go do a gig for like, again, a company like LinkedIn, something. Right. However, I do wish I could have gone and worked at that vineyard in person. I'll say that much.
Oh yeah.
Back already this But yeah, and I one other thing I forgot to mention as well, in 2014, I actually hosted my own radio program called Unreal Radio for a couple of years. Awesome. And there I got to talk to paranormal investigators, movie directors, Uri Geller, who's one of my childhood heroes. He's the Israeli psychic spoonbender, and got to Skype with him in Israel. Awesome. So that was So it's funny, like all the things I was into as a kid have become my full-time job. I mean, it's the end of May, and for anyone watching or who can see me, I am wearing like an autumny, Wicked Clothes Halloween sweater because it's 50 degrees and raining today. So it's how I just decided today's unofficially Halloween.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you 100% because it's literally 46 degrees here and it's been raining all day. So like I'm in long sleeves. My shirt says it has a heart and it says wine.
Wine, yep.
Because I love my wine.
So we're really the person who had the beer shaped or the lamp made out of beer? Okay, never mind.
I like beer, but I love my wine.
Fair enough. I like beer, but I love wine. So I'm actually right on the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Where are you?
We're in Marshalltown, Iowa, so we're a few hours from you. But Darren, who is waiting in the lurks here for some different things, he's actually from what, Oshkosh, Wisconsin?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm in Pleasant Prairie, which is right next to Kenosha, and about 30 minutes from Lake Geneva. Yeah. So yeah, I'm like right on the border.
So, yes. You'll have to come check out some of your shows.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, let's do something real quick. Now, don't be worried, Darren, because we're gonna do something with you and all of the listeners. We'll do something with you and all the listeners. Yeah, his hand's shaking, exactly.
I told him you wouldn't say any of his dirty thoughts.
No. The dirty thoughts are easy to get. You just start saying dirty things, and eventually you'll hit on them. So here's how this will work. I'll actually give a demonstration of this by allowing you and all of the listeners to actually read my mind. This should work for people both live and listening to the podcast recorded after this. Here's how this is going to work. I am going to think of a 2-digit number. I will project it out to as many of you as possible and see how many receive the psychic transmission. Now, don't worry, I'll keep it small, I'll keep it a 2-digit number, and I'll keep it less than. Don't come up with one yet, Darren and listeners, because I don't have one yet, so give me a second. Okay, got it. Now, before you guess, since you've probably never done this before, I'm going to give everyone 2 very small hints about the number. The first is that both digits are different. So, for example, like 22 wouldn't work, because they're both a 2. But also, both digits are odd, okay? So both digits are odd and both are different. I'm going to do my best to project it out to everyone right now. Lock the first number in your mind. Don't change it. I am going to say go with whatever number pops in your mind first, because I was trying to send you 37.
Holy shit, that's what I had, Joe.
Okay, that's what you had. Were you close at all? Were you close at all, Darren?
No, I was at 15.
You're 15. Okay, fair enough. Okay, we'll try it again. We'll see if that said, we do have, we've done this before, Kim, so that's part of it. So we'll try it again with you, Darren. We'll give everyone a chance. I'll do it again. I'll make it over 50 this time. Okay, got it. Both digits are different again, but this time both digits are even. All right? I'll send it to you. Lock it in your mind now. Don't change it. Oh, interesting. One of you might have gotten the digits reversed. That's okay. Because I was actually sending 68 that time. What'd you get, Darren?
I had 66.
So did I. I had 66.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so very close. So very, very close.
I was picking up somebody's numbers.
Yeah, you were picking up somebody. People watching or listening after the fact. Let's see how, obviously, I'm at Joe Diamond Live on all social media. Hit up Kim and Paranormal Buzz Radio. Let us know how you all did. That said, now that I know a little bit about how you work, Darren, and how your brain works, I'm just going to ask you one more question, and that is, what is your star sign, your zodiac?
Oh, this is always a hard one for me.
What's your birthday? Just leave out the year.
May 3rd.
Oh, May 3rd. Okay, this is easy because my wife's birthday is May 1st, so your birthday was just recently. So happy birthday. So you're a Taurus. So I think, and you said 16, and okay, I think that's enough information for me to get a read on you and predict something that I think you're going to do in a moment after we play a little game. of imagination. I've written something down on one of my business cards, and I'll keep this in frame. Now, just to verify, both of you can see this, correct?
Yes.
Oh, all right. I've written something on the other side. You can't see what I've written just yet. But
Right.
I just want to, just
Yeah, I can see the paper.
being honest. Okay. I'll leave this in frame. And Darren, I want you to imagine that there's a small bag of M&Ms in front of you. In fact, when you open up, you realize there's only 3 left. You dump them out in front of you, and they're each a different color. We'll say the first one's a red one, and then a blue one, and a green one. So red, blue, green. Now we're going to get rid of 2 of these and imagine eating one of them. So with your right hand, imagine you pick up one of those colors and say it as you pick it up.
Red.
And with the other hand, reach down and pick up another M&M.
Blue.
Blue. So red in one hand. Hold up the one in the red one, or the hand with the red M&M. So that's in your right hand. And then the blue M&M is in your left hand. Like I said, we're going to get rid of one and eat the other. So through the screen, hand me either one. Doesn't matter. Okay, we're getting rid of that one. Which one did you keep to eat?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, go ahead and eat the blue M&M. So we got rid of that one, and you're eating the blue M&M. Now tell me, is the plain milk chocolate kind, or is it the kind that has nuts?
Plain.
So the blue M&M does not have nuts. That's perfect. Wrote down the blue M&M does not have nuts.
I told you.
That's good. That's good.
And I'll tell you what. Let's plan on when we're getting towards the end of this, Kim. Let me know when we've got like 3 or 4 minutes, because we'll do one more thing with everyone.
Okay.
Everyone will just need a deck of playing cards. Now they can be playing cards, tarot cards, Uno cards. It can even be 10 index cards that you write playing cards on. So you won't need a full deck in more ways than one. We'll give everyone the chance to gather those for the end of the episode. So make sure so that'll be a little tease for later on. While they're gathering all their cards, we're gonna do one more thing with you, Darren, and then we'll handle some more questions. Since you did so well with that game of imagination, we're gonna play one more game. You'll notice I have a tiny little aged purse here. Inside, I have 2 very strange items. One is a deck of cards, but you'll notice it's a baby deck of cards. It's a miniature deck of cards. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And there's something else in here, which I'll take out. Close the purse up. I'll show you these. These are invisible dice. And what's great about invisible dice, I know invisible M&Ms, you can't taste them, can't feel them. But with invisible dice, you can never lose a game. I'll show you. If I shake them and roll them, look at that. I rolled a 7. I'm a natural. I'll pick them up, roll them again. 11. I just keep on winning. Another winner. Here, I'll actually hand them to you through the screen, Darren. Go ahead and take them. Shake up those invisible dice and roll them. And oh, bummer, Snake Eyes, you lost. Okay, so that's not really fair. We'll do another round. Doesn't matter what you roll. It can be a 7, 11, or anything in between. Because in this deck, in this mini deck, which I'll keep in frame in the first, I have 2 cards turned over. I'm not going to tell you what they are. The only hint you get is that one is a spade and one is a diamond. That's the only hint you get. Pick up those dice, roll them again, shake them, roll them, and this time you tell all of us, Darren, what did you roll on those imaginary dice?
8.
8. Is that 2 4s, a 2 and a 6?
2 and a 6.
2 and a 6, okay. Which one, if we were to convert that 2 and 6 into a playing card game, which one would you say is the spade?
2.
That'd be the 2 of spades and 6 of diamonds, right?
Yep.
I'm going to go through the deck. I'm going to keep this in frame so you can see. I'll bring it in nice and close and see in the baby deck of cards, there really is only 2 cards turned over. There's 1. And there's 2. Those are the only 2 cards turned over in the entire mini deck. You said the 2 of spades and 6 of diamonds, and take a look. Those 2 cards that I turned over before we start.
Wow.
So there's a
Damn.
one more with you at the end, Darren, and then we'll do one more for everyone. So stay tuned.
I have to have a real clear mind now.
I told you this might be
Closed off.
Everybody's gonna get their minds blown tonight because it's awesome. Like, I
And they
love it.
definitely will if they get their 10 cards. Seriously, don't miss out on that. It's gonna be
That's
worth
right.
it.
Kim's actually out finding our cards right now. So
Oh, perfect.
I know she has deck of cards because we usually keep them in our box for trigger objects and stuff. So
I need to go down.
we did have a couple of questions in chat, so I want to get to those here. If I can read my chicken scribbles. What is the greatest fear you have when you read minds?
Oh, what is the greatest fear? Most people would think like that I'm gonna read something I'm not supposed to, and let me put that to bed right now. I'll answer the full question in a moment, but I've said this before, and I think it kind of helps people understand it. Mind reading is like any form of communication. It's a two-way street. Like if we're on the phone and the call drops and we both try and call each other at the same time, no connection is made. So if they're out waiting to get the other person to call, no connection will be made. You need one person to make the call, and then when your phone rings, you have to pick it up, and you have to dial the right number. You can't dial the wrong number and then be upset that the other person's phone isn't ringing or that they're not picking up. And that's the equivalent of someone like purposely not thinking of anything or thinking of the opposite or trying to screw something up. Because if they do that, it's going to work. So people think like, oh, maybe it's, so I'm not going to get anything someone doesn't want me to know. Occasionally I have those intuitive hunches, but like I don't say all of them, like I make sure to like, I'll maybe allude to them or let people, be, but I never reveal anything that, I don't have consent. So that is fine. And the stuff that if I do pick up on something I'm not sure about, like, oh, is this person like, there's never anything like salacious, never Jerry Springer level, but it's usually just like, oh, this person's going through some stuff. And I think we all have those feelings like
yes, absolutely.
And sometimes when they're a friend or family member, you can ask, are you okay? But you can't do that to somebody you just met 5 minutes ago and they've hired you to keep everyone happy, So, so there's definitely that. So some people might think maybe the fear is I pick up on something I don't want to, and that maybe once, and I'm not, if I did, it wasn't memorable and it's not coming to mind. The other fear people might think is that I'm wrong. Honestly, I've been wrong so many times in my career. I was doing a corporate event. I won't say the name of the company, but it was this big event. I had the CEO on stage with me. Everyone's loving everything. I have them think of any time you were born, time someone else was born, time you're married, whatever. I write on a giant board, 256. I hold it over his head so the audience can't see it, but he can't. And I say, what number are you thinking of? And he says, 817. Not a single digit right. Sometimes I'm close with that stuff, but not even a digit right. I'm just like, exactly. And I chucked it and everyone laughed and, ha ha ha, all that stuff. But what was funny at that show is he came up to me afterwards. He said, I thought you were doing just tricks, but then you got that wrong. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
It's still kind of interesting, why it's wrong, why I pick up on certain things. Like sometimes I'll let people pick up something, and I won't pick up on what they settled on, but it's the first thing they maybe decided on, So that's not really wrong. That's more, So, and it happens so much, and part of me, I have a very dense repertoire and a lot of different techniques that I can use. And so I'm not too worried. I've been through enough, to where I'm not super worried with that. So I would say, at the end of the day, my biggest fear with mind reading is that it's boring. Like, even if it's wrong, I want the engagement and the fun and the fun of, like, working with someone and reading them. Are they fun to read? Are they more closed off? Are they really expressive? Are they stone-faced? That's all interesting. And if they're just like, if no one's engaged and they're just like, all right, when are the awards going to happen? Or where are you going to go for drinks after you bought a ticket? Like, that's my biggest fear is that it's boring and not exciting. I'm not a big sports person, but just a quick sports analogy. If a game is just like, even if they're scoring, like there's some games that just aren't like, but if someone, kicks the ball and takes it and runs it, all the yards, but they get stuck at like the 4-yard line. They get so close after running from the other side of no one goes, well, that was a waste of time. he didn't hit it. They're like, oh, that was a great run. That was really exciting. How he ducked and dove and everything else. I'd rather have that and get, close to the finish line than get over it and have them be like, well, this team, they're playing stinks. They're not even a challenge. It's not fun, So
Right.
That's a little bit of it. I want people to have fun. I want people to not feel like I'm trying to. The big fear in corporate situations is everyone thinks I'm like making fun of them. And no, my mentor always said, if you ever bring someone on stage, and I apply this to Zoom shows too, send them back a hero. I don't want to, I'll have fun with people, but I won't make fun of people at their expense. And I try to make that part of it. Like the whole point of why we're interested in, the paranormal in general is because it is fun. Like even when we're taking it seriously, we shouldn't be taking ourselves seriously. And I think, the more fun you're having, the more positive you're going to be, and the more open you're going to be to the stuff around you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So now when you're doing this, let's say you have somebody that you're trying to interact with, do you sometimes pick up on somebody else's, somebody else might be thinking of a number, and that's maybe why it comes out incorrectly for that person, because you may be picking up on somebody else?
Yes, that definitely happened. That happened once. I was on stage and I was describing a dream, and I was like, it's this, and the person's like, no. And I was blindfolded on stage at the time, and I was like, but is someone over here thinking that? And no one raised their hands. Like, okay. And after the show, a sweet old woman came up to me and said, that was my dream we were thinking about, but I was so shocked I didn't raise my hand. And I was so embarrassed after a few moments. I didn't want to ruin the show. I was like, that's fine, hang on a second. Went and got the CEO who booked me, brought him over. I was like, I just want you to know I wasn't wrong. He just didn't see it. Because it was the one part of the show that was it wasn't even so much that. It was just there was a dip in energy and everything. The rest of the show went fine, but I just wanted him to know, hey, I was right. She just didn't see it. So, but I was working with someone completely different when that happened. So that happens sometimes, for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, do you classify yourself as a psychic? Is that how you're able to read minds, or what do you classify that as?
I kind of purposefully don't give myself a classification. The opening line of my show that you saw is I'm a mind reader, sometimes a psychic or a mystic. I'm not a medium. I'm a large. That's been my opening line a long time. And the big reason. So there's a couple problems in the entertainment capacity of it. Mm-hmm. If you say psychic, a lot of people assume that means you are a medium. Now, in our category, we know there's clairaudience, there's, energy workers, light workers, aura readers, all this stuff.
Right.
There's a wide
different
range.
Classifications, yep.
Lots of different classifications.
Mm-hmm.
But, the average person on the street, when they hear psychic, it usually follows up with me, And while I have done paranormal experiments, and I've used stuff like pendulums and beer bottles. Oh, a kitty. Hang on, I'll read the kitty's line. There's a kitty up on his lap, and the kitty is hungry. Okay, so I know.
Very true.
So I mean, I think we're all psychic too. I think we just, don't know how to classify or put our gifts. Just for example, my dad, he can just hear the belt on my car and be like, "Hey, pop your hood, your belt." And he's never been to, mechanic school. He's worked around cars his whole life, but that's his sixth sense. There's some people who can just, spot a fake art piece from a million miles away. That's
right.
their skill that they've honed. Yeah, I mean, usually, the last show I did, I called Mystic, because I talk about different mystics from throughout history. Talk about Edgar Casey, Alexander, the Crystal Seer, Pamela Coleman Smith, who designed the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. And as a result, a lot of people started calling me Mystic, since I titled that show that. In the area that I perform in, most people know me as a mind reader because of unlocking people's iPhones and hacking the Pentagon, which we'll get to in a moment. I want to get through more questions. But I kind of like that I'm kind of unclassifiable, that I'm just Joe Diamond. And it's allowed me to, host a ghost tour in a certain town, do a mind reading show one night, and hang out at the metaphysical fair another night. Like I'm not boxed into something. If that makes sense.
Right. It does make perfect sense to me.
Yeah. So and like in the show, as you see, like I'm all about opening stuff up, not putting it into a box, not containing it. And I think you gotta start with yourself if your artwork's gonna go there. I go by Mind Reader. I go by Mystic. Some call me an artist. Just call me an artist. Some call me a magician, and that's fine. My favorite one was the San Francisco Examiner saw one of my shows while they were doing a piece on shows in Chicago when I had a show in Chicago at the time. And they called me an occult aficionado.
Oh.
Which I loved because occult means secret or hidden.
Right. Yes.
Aficionado means expert or knower. So
right.
It literally meant secret knower.
Yes.
That was cool, but it didn't look great on a business card. It was too
yeah.
So just Joe Diamond.
That's all right.
I don't care what you call it as long as you call me. How about that?
That's right. That is right. So now the other night, weren't you gonna go do a little investigating yourself the other night? Didn't I see something on Instagram?
I had some friends with me. So I did my show Mystic. Yes. Monday night for a group of friends, the Spooky Boy and Spirit Sisters podcast. Mm-hmm. They're in the area, and since we're all vaccinated and everything, and also a good friend of mine from the Carolinas was coming out, and she's been vaccinated as well. We decided, well, why don't we just do an investigation of the Dole Mansion, and I'll do my Mystic show for everyone. No one's seen it. They'd all only ever seen me virtually. The podcast host, they had seen me around town in different places, but we had never met. They were like, "Oh, that's that Joe Diamond guy." Like my wife calls me a local celebrity because whenever we hang out in that town, the Crystal Lake, Woodstock, Illinois area, she's like, it's walking around with someone running for the mayor of nothing because it's just like, "Hey, Joe Diamond."
Yeah.
Which is why I like living a couple miles away, because I can go to the Starbucks here and read my book and not get bothered, and not have someone come their palm saying, "Hey, I was wondering what this line meant." So we did a fun little I've never done in depth the paranormal investigations is purely a hobby. That said, I've done a lot of work with spirit bottles, and I've actually used those in person for reading. So when I do the Mystic show, VIP ticket holders get to stay after the show to get a reading. And I used to just do cards or tarot. But lately I've been using the spirit bottle, which is just a pendulum inside the bottle. And I've been using that to answer yes or no questions and so forth. And the other great thing about it too is that we can actually use that to talk to the ghosts and energies at the Dole Mansion. So it's great, without me, I don't have to be the literal medium. People can really, go straight to the source with it too. I just need to show them how to use the tools. Some people brought in dowsing rods and stuff like that as well. They're still going through the footage. We got a couple things that happened. It's going into one of the bedrooms. And my wife, when she was in college, she was a bat detective at the local forest preserve. And the logo / mascot of the podcast is a bat. So that was a fun little synchronicity moment. And that's the other thing with the Dole Mansion. There's not a lot of stuff falling over. Some people caught weird stuff on cameras, but weird coincidences happen in that building all the time. People have come to my shows separately who haven't seen each other in years and run into each other at my show.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, I could go on and on about all the crazy stuff there. So I think it's less so much that, I think there's more energies there than spirits, and weird stuff happens there. But I could go on and on about all that. But yeah, we did that on Monday night, and the plan is to bring back the Mystic show in the fall, and maybe do some investigations or flashlight tours for the public. Nothing is decided as far as that. But the Mystic show and the VIP seances will definitely be a thing come September of 2020.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm a big fan of seances. I've done a couple with the Southern Gypsies and stuff, And I love doing those. I don't know how you do them or whatever. Or
Yeah, mine is just so it's a spirit bottle, pendulum inside of a bottle. And the thing I love about that is everyone can put their hands on the table, and the pendulum can move on its own. We've even done it with several different spirit bottles. Because some people think maybe you're unconsciously moving the table. Well, if that was the case, each pendulum would go the same direction. And these pendulums go at different paces. One goes in a circle, one goes in a straight line. All sorts of stuff. And really weird stuff will happen with that. But what's great with it, you can ask it yes or no questions. You can tap out answers on the inside of the bottle. And yeah, I get to kind of ask whatever questions they want from them.
Nice. Okay, so I know you do work with pendulums and things. I've seen that in your virtual. We did a little bit with that. Now, have you ever tried doing the human pendulum?
The human pendulum. Okay, so I've heard about different versions of this. What's the kind you're talking about?
Well, we just did this at Missouri State Penn, and basically we just kind of moved in the same direction, and then when we asked questions, then we were supposed to see kind of which way we swayed. Have you ever tried anything?
I've done something similar to that, which is a spirit rope, where two people hold a rope together in their hands, and even though neither of them are pulling it, they'll each feel a tug.
Oh, okay.
So one tug for yes, two tugs for no, which I think might be a little bit of that happening, and the rope is just a way to signal it to the person. And I've played around a little bit with that, but I've never done the full thing like you're talking about. But pendulums, human pendulums, it's spirit writing, all that stuff. It's all based on the same kind of table tipping as well. I have done some table.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that one.
It's where you just put your hands on the table and focus, and the table can move around the room or go up on 1, 2 legs, or even all 4 legs off. If you look, I first saw mentalist, the amazing Kreskin, do it on TV when I was a kid. So if you look up Kreskin table tipping, you'll see a video of him doing it. And I've never done it on the same scale, but I've done it one-on-one with people. Yeah. The spirit bottles, I also get to make them, which is a nice for having a public art form or a public career. I like making the spirit bottles because it's a very solitary thing that I can do and make, and they're all different. And I get them from the bottles I get are from a restaurant in Wisconsin, which the building there is also reportedly haunted. And so rather than buying bottles from a supplier or something, I'm just recycling them from that building, so that way it's still eco-friendly and green and all that.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so we have some more questions rolling in our chat. So, let's see here. What's the weirdest mind reading you have done that still sticks with you today? And Kim, you gave me a pen that doesn't work.
You grabbed it.
Oh, okay.
Even today. There's a lot. I've had people cry. I've had people laugh. I've had people hit me. If you look on my Instagram, Joe Diamond Live, I have stories saved with different mind reading reactions. I had an old woman just slap me one night. Just, how'd you know that? Boom, hit me in the arm.
Has anyone shit?
This one sticks out. And there's a video of it. I think it's from 2018. So if you look on my Facebook page, you can find it. And I'll probably make a point to share it in my Instagram story later. So if anyone wants to go to Joe Diamond Live on Instagram after this, they can see it. A woman was thinking of someone's nickname, which was Forest Marshall. And I was I tried 3 times, because when I kept getting it, I was like, there's no way this is right. But it was all I was getting. So I was just all right. Eventually you just got to say what you're getting and move on, even if it's wrong. Right. And I was just so I said, the name you're thinking of is Steve, is that correct? That woman said yes. And I was and yours? It was weird. I was getting a Horse Marshal. And she said the same thing. And she ran away. But here's the thing. the way my studio is set up, the door's right here, and then it just goes to like the back wall and the window here. She ran this way. She ran literally where there was nowhere to go. So like, I don't know what she was trying to go to. I've had people walk out the door before, but she went like further into the park. So the uniqueness of the name, the fact that she ran in this direction, that's the one that probably sticks out. I'm probably forgetting. That's part of the fun of the job too, is you never know what. Yes, even when you can properly read their minds, you never really know what they're going to do or how they're going to react.
Yeah, right.
Well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the fun of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I probably would too. I'd probably be so shocked to be like, "Oh crap, where do I go? Where do I go?" And I'd probably go the wrong direction. And you'd be like, "You need to go this way." I'm like,
I'd probably puke.
Have had someone puke.
oh no.
I found out after the fact. I was doing a house party and finished, and like the hostess left, and she came down wearing different pants, and she gave me a tip saying, "You made me pee my pants. That was amazing." So I was like, "Okay, thanks."
Note to self: wear Depends to any of the
Oh, there's merch. Depends. Put on Depends before.
That's right.
With the show, get a $10 upgrade. You get a Joe Diamond branded set of Depends. Oh my God, perfect. All right, what other questions you got?
All right, we got a next question is, what's your favorite haunted location?
Okay, I rent a studio at the Dole Mansion. but the Maxwell Mansion pays me to come there.
Yeah, so it's kind of
So I'm going to say the Maxwell because they're the ones that sign checks to me rather than me signing checks to them.
No. There you go. Good answer.
So give and take.
Say that for right now.
Okay.
Probably, yeah, but it would definitely be a toss. They each have their own vibe and own feeling. Obviously, I rent a studio at the Dole Mansion, so I'm willing to be there for months at a time rather than a couple times a month with the Maxwell. I would totally be there more if the Maxwell booked me. But we have all our dates locked in for the summer and everything, and that's going to be a blast. But yeah, it would definitely be a very close tie between those two. That would be the less diplomatic and slightly more honest.
There you go. Good answer. Next question is from our chat. We've got quite a few in here. Has your family always been supportive of you?
No. Some have.
Yes.
Yeah, some have not. Some do not. So the more straight-laced Catholic family members do not get it. My great-grandmother really was supportive from day one. Like she taught me how to read playing cards. She came and saw me in all my school plays. So she lived to be like 94. Okay. And I would go and do free shows at her nursing home all the time. So much so that when she finally passed away, the nursing home contact.
I'll be right back.
I felt terrible saying no because she wasn't there anymore. So she was very supportive. She always had a favorite part of the show. I always had one thing which might was a mini homage to her, whether I meant her or like she was also an actress. I know this. We found a couple old photos of her, like just actress. So I mean, I think she had a very. The other thing too is we found out we were like 5% Jewish on the side.
Oh yeah.
She said no, I don't know, and I think it was just because from World War II, she was probably just told at a very young age, don't tell anyone we're part Jewish. Herself, that had just locked in. But there's also aspects where I feel like, I think she lived a very, very deep and exciting life. We obviously don't know everything, but she was very supportive. My parents were very supportive when I was young. Then when I graduated college, a little less so. To be fair, when I started doing this full time was in 2008, when the financial crisis happened for a couple of years. It was very hot. People weren't booking entertainment. That's when I started. So they were a little iffy then. But now that my dad's done some artwork now, he refurbishes old wood now. That's his living. That's his job now. He used to drive a semi-truck. And I think when I was a kid, they were from the generation of like, oh, you have to have a job, make this amount for your kids, to do this, to do that. Gotta do this, gotta have a backup plan. And since all that, you know, the working for that company and everything just didn't lead to where he thought it was going to, as far as retirement and everything, he thought it was better to just work for himself anyway. So they've definitely shifted back. But yeah, one of my grandmothers flat out sat me down after high school and was like, so now you can't do this for a living. You're gonna need something. And it was like, and again, like I know none of my other cousins. Even if my cousin was a painter or a designer, I know she didn't get that. Even though she's I would consider a fellow artist, and even though she might consider me an artist, she actually has come to some of my virtual shows and in-person shows. And my grandmother since then. Let me be clear about this. And yeah, I'd say the people that matter definitely had their worries and definitely. And also, I'll be honest with you, you don't know how to be supportive with a job like this, too.
Right, yeah.
Even for me, like, I don't even know what that support would look like when I was younger. Now, like, my wife, like, she met me at a show. So, like, it's never not been a part of our lives.
Right.
She's the history biology double major. And like she's very scientifically minded and very, and I'm the emotional, like hippie, like oh my god, we're all connected. And what's going on here? What's up with this? I'm rubbing off on her. But there were definitely times where the family just like didn't like if you're doing they didn't even know what to call it. They're like, is he doing magic? He's doing something called paranormal. What's that? Does he think he can talk to ghosts? And then once they saw it, and then on top of it, saw me actually make a living with it, a lot of them, changed their tune and started to be more. There might be a couple that I don't talk to anymore that probably still do. But whatever, I don't talk to them.
Yeah, that's right. It is what it is. That's kind of how I view it. Some of my family, approves of me going out and investigating others, probably, yeah, whatever, and they probably think I'm batshit crazy half the time, but they don't really want to say it. But I really don't care.
All
my parents think I'm looking at demons.
They're demons. They're demons.
It's all demons.
All demons.
All my family supports
very religious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I went to 12 years of Baptist school. There was definitely
goodness
concerns at the school, like, hey, Satan can use this as an in, and that just made me want to do it more. Like, like you think they'd learn, like, it didn't work with rock and roll. It didn't work with Procter and Gamble. It's not what it is, So.
There she is.
There's Shay. Woo!
Hey, Jamie, there.
So, okay, we got a couple more questions, and then
all right.
Shay's going to also use herself as a guinea pig. So if you have a couple things you want to do,
sure. Grab a pen and paper, Shay, for your for what we'll do with you.
So you get yourself a pen and paper. I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
While you do that, we'll hear through
God, there's a test? What?
Yes, that's right. Get ready for a test. Pop quiz, Shay. Pop quiz.
I have a book stopper. Does that count? No.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever you can write on or write with.
I got it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Next question is, do you have a hard time walking through a Walmart? Do you ever get anybody's vibes or anything when you're walking through a Walmart?
Yeah, but not because I'm psychic. It's just because it's Walmart.
Amen. Oh, I knew I liked him. See?
Amen.
Gosh dang.
Amen.
Tell me. Oh
I
my
do
god.
use their spoon. I can't talk too badly because I do use their spoons for spoon bending. So I do have to go in there every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's the only store we have here in Marshalltown.
I avoided the
Walmart is
truck.
okay. It's the people in Walmart that's not okay.
One more question.
Yep. Okay,
Then
we got
we'll
one
get to
more
Shay.
question here.
Okay, cool.
They want to know how come you don't do a tarot card reading during a séance?
I wonder who that's from.
I wonder. Hi, Darren.
Like,
Well, that last dead
do
giveaway.
a tarot card reading during a seance, or if they do one.
If you do one.
Oh, would I do one?
Right.
I technically do. I have an oracle deck that they shuffle, and that the way I end the spirit bottle seances is I shuffle the cards, put them down, and we ask the bottle to give us a number, and the pendulum inside taps out a number, and we count. Let's say it counts to 11, and we count down to the 11th card, and we use that card to give them a reading to finish the seance and to show, like, this is, the spirits of the dole have, chosen a tarot card for you, and, and that's, or an oracle card for you, and that's how we finish it up. It's also just from a purely theatrical standpoint of, like, people who actually do seances know it's a lot just sitting around waiting for stuff. So how do you stop it? Even when stuff is happening with the spirit bottle, which happens 99% of the time, we get at least movement from the spirit bottle, even if we can't get it to answer any questions.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are asking questions, how do you wrap that up after asking, a bunch of questions? So some out of questions. So it gives a nice end to it. And also some people don't know. They feel on the spot. They don't know what questions to ask. So having the bottle literally choose a card for them at the end is helpful. I've incorporated tarot in seances, but I've never done like a full like tarot card spread of like past, present, future, all that stuff. Sometimes have people pick tarot cards at the beginning just to kind of break the ice, like in a house party or something before we go. But like I don't use it during the seance proper, if it makes sense. So I've used it to both end and to kind of break the ice a little bit. But like doing a full length half hour, one person, one deck tarot reading. I mean, the seance itself is going to be a half hour to an hour, so we don't want to take up the whole time focusing on just the one person.
But
So I've definitely
you
incorporated
probably
it.
don't need to.
What's that?
You probably don't need to. You don't need the
And
cards.
exactly, you probably don't need to as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
Very often I don't. Very often. So
My hands are gone after 45 minutes.
Yeah. So Shay, do you have your pen and paper ready?
Shay, you got your pen and paper?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm scared.
you
I don't
are-
allow readings. This is scary.
Oh no, I won't do a read. I won't do a reading. This will be fun. Well, let me ask you this, Shay, because we've all been stuck inside for the last few months, and I've been doing a lot of thinking. And one of my favorite things to think about is parallel universes. A universe that's just like ours, but somewhere out there in the cosmos, or maybe just on the other side of our reality, it's just like ours, but a little different.
Yeah.
And my favorite parallel universe that I like to think about is the opposite parallel universe. Where, like, for example, in that parallel universe, I'm in Iowa and you're in Wisconsin. In that parallel universe, when you do laundry, you gain a sock rather than losing one. And in that parallel universe, everyone's been stuck outside for the last 14 months. So similar, but a little different.
All right.
So I want to explore the connection between you and the parallel you, Shay. I want you to write down on that piece of paper a 3-digit number. Now, real quick, don't make all the digits the same. Don't do like 111 or 999 or even 112. Make all 3 digits different. And also
666.
Yeah.
Also zeros, because you just zeros to 1, that's just 1. So make all 3 digits different and don't do any zeros. And let me know when you've done that.
Done.
Don't give me any about the number you've written down.
I
But
won't.
think about it.
Oh, trust me,
The
I
other
won't.
you. Okay, but the other you would have written down those 3 digits, but reversed, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and reverse those digits. So if you wrote down 1, 2, 3, now write down 3, 2, 1. And let us know when
pen
you've
died.
done.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, I think my pen's dying, but we're good.
Okay, all right. So think about this. You wrote down your number. Your parallel universe wrote down the opposite. You wrote down the opposite, which means the parallel you wrote down your number, which means probably for the first time in each of your existence, you're both perfectly in sync. You've both done the exact same thing. Now you've got 2 3-digit numbers in front of you. Would you add them or subtract them?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah,
Let's go with that.
You would add them, so that would mean the other one of you would subtract them, right? So let's do that. Let's do what the other you would be doing. Subtract.
I didn't know there was a math test. We could be in trouble.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Right,
Don't worry about it. If you need to pull up a calculator, we won't judge. We won't judge. And then just let me know when you've got a new total in front of you. Now think about this. This will be a total that neither you nor your parallel version of you could have possibly predicted.
Am I doing both? Like adding one,
No,
subtracting?
Just subtract.
No, just subtract the smaller number from the larger.
Yep.
Just subtract. I'm saying the other you would have done the opposite. And if you wrote out a different number, you'd be, adding and subtracting different numbers, all of that. Okay? So you've subtracted the smaller number from the larger one, right?
No.
Oh, okay, do that. Okay. What? That's subtract the smaller number from the larger number. That's okay. That's okay.
How do you
And the
subtract
thing
if they're different? How do you?
It can go into negatives if you need to.
All right. So.
If you need to pull out a calculator, that's totally fine
No.
too. And if not, don't worry about it. Well, if this doesn't work, we'll try something else. There's no pressure either.
There is pressure. I don't do that. I don't let people do this shit to me. All right.
Now, here's
I
the
got
other
it.
thing. If anyone
My
else
mother
were to
just.
do-
Did you see that? My mother just came in to make sure my math was right.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah.
All right. So let us know when you're done. Let us know when you're done.
I think I'm.
Think you're done?
Should we give her another hour?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I might in my pants. I might use.
I
one of those
would not
to
have
pin.
volunteered if I knew there was math. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm getting her upset and frustrated, so she'll be easier to read in a moment. Don't tell her. That's
Okay.
I think my math is wrong is the issue.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Have your
Do
mother
you,
check it.
She
Do you still
tried
have a
to and I
3-digit
sent her
number?
away.
Did you get down? I'll tell you what. Just focus on the total. Is that brand new number? Is it still a 3-digit number?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
I don't
Okay.
know how to math either, so it's not your fault.
Look who's red now.
Yeah.
Here's what we'll do. So it's a 2-digit. So it's probably a 2-digit number then. Yeah. If
Mom.
it's not a 3-digit number, then it has to be a 2-digit number or 1-digit number. So I'm assuming we're probably dealing with a 2-digit number. Is that correct?
No, it's a one number digit and they're both the same number, so that's not good.
Well, I lost.
This is like me and your virtual show the other
You know
night.
what?
It's like
You know what?
Allison's text. Like, how do you figure it out?
Okay, think of a card.
That's
Think of a
easier.
card. Forget the math. Never mind.
Ma,
Forget the
Just
math.
think of a
yeah,
card.
here's Mama Deb. She's gonna help.
This is Sarah. Don't come back here. This is my fault. I'm the mind reader. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have made it that
But
far.
you're the
Okay, okay.
smart one. I'm the dumb one. I volunteered for this.
You're not. No, it's okay. Jay, just think of a card. Not the ace of spades, not the queen of hearts. Just think of a playing
He's
card.
like, I'm done with this. I just get her off.
No, okay, do you have a playing card tonight?
She's doing the math. I'll do the card thing. You want me to write it
she's
down?
doing the math. Okay, this is the card thing. Okay, so you've got a card in mind.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna turn over one card. Give me a second. All right, I'll put the rest of the deck back in the box. So I turned one card upside down in the deck, so it's facing the opposite way.
I'm writing that one down too, just so you know.
Okay, perfect. All right. So one card is in the deck, turned around, and again, you all can see me for the people listening. The deck is in frame. You can tell us, Shay, what card do you have in mind? Because I'm committed. I can't change my mind.
Oh, I have to tell you? All right.
Yeah, because I turned one over in here.
All right.
I'm committed.
6 of spades.
6 of spades. Now, 6 is ironically the number of family, and you have family doing your math for you, and that's great. And spade is the symbol of power. So this shows you're a very powerful person who can convince your family to do difficult tasks for you. So it works out perfectly. See, I have that sense about you, which is why I turned over one card in this deck. You can see all of the cards really are all facing the same way, except for one. That's the only card I turned over. And that card is yours. 6 of spades. And you know what? In that parallel universe, I'm bad at math and you're great at it. So it's A-okay. Don't worry.
I think even in the other universe, I'm bad at math.
But hey, in that other
my
universe,
pen didn't work. Look, like I had to scratch out things. Like I couldn't even read my own.
I was thinking of the card that she was going to pull up.
Yeah. See?
I have 5 of spades in my head.
Does everyone have their 10 playing cards?
What?
Yeah.
Can I ask you? What was the
Sure.
one stupid number that doesn't even make sense? What was the number I was supposed to subtract that they should not have come out the same, but they did?
Did you repeat digits? Because they have to all be, because if you do like 606 and you
Yeah,
reverse that.
I'll tell
that
you
gets
the numbers. Yeah.
Okay?
534 and 435.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean my math is right. That's
Okay.
the problem.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if someone does like 6, that's why you do you don't repeat them. Because if you do 616, reverse, it's still the same, and then you just get 0. That's right. But that's okay. That's why, again, like I said, that's why I have a lot of different materials. So everyone grab your 10 cards.
I don't think you're going to get this because my math was so wrong.
Kim has our playing cards right here.
Oh, you got jumbo playing cards. Even better. Even better. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so everyone should have their 10 cards and shuffle your 10 cards. Everyone shuffle your 10 cards.
I can't.
Now, most people are probably doing this with playing cards. I've got one of my favorite tarot cards here, the Magician. The Magician card is all about power
You are a magician.
and control.
I like it.
Yeah, over the world around us. And that's something that we've all been back in 2020 into 2021. We wanted more power and control of the world around us. So we're going to use this tarot card and the cards in your hands to do a ritual to allow everyone, you and your listeners, to have more power and control over their lives as well. Give your 10 cards one more shuffle, one more face-down shuffle, and there's nothing I could know about the cards in your hands, right? Well, I do know one thing. I know you have 10 of them, because I asked you to get 10. But I don't know that. So let's get rid of a couple. Now, don't get rid of just one. Get rid of, at least 2. Make it a little harder. But at the same time, make sure you have at least, 4 cards left in your hand to work. Otherwise, it's going to be. So get rid of some cards and hold the rest in your hand.
Well, at least 5, you said?
Rid of some? There's no way I can know how many you got rid of. So we're all starting from the least. Okay.
Okay, I'm down to 5.
Okay, perfect. Everyone look at the bottom card of your packet and memorize it. Seriously, don't forget it. It'll be important later on. You can write it down or take a picture of it with your smartphone if you want. Hold the whole packet face down in front of you because we're going to cast a spell. We're going to spell the word magician, just like at the bottom of the tarot card. So everyone take the top card and hold it in front of you and say M.
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 The first letter of the word magician. Put that card on the bottom of the pack. Take the new top card, hold it in front of you, and say A.
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 Put it on the bottom. Keep going, spelling magician. G.
G.
I can't spell either. G.
G.
Okay. I.
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 C.
C.
I.
I.
A.
I knew that one.
A.
There we go. And N.
N.
Put it on the bottom. If this doesn't work the first time you're recording it, so you can go back and re-listen and try again. So it's even
That's right.
We're going to do one more ritual. You'll notice the Magician Tarot card has one hand pointed towards the heaven, one hand pointed towards the earth. That's because he or she is saying as above, so below. We're going to do that together.
Good movie.
Take your top, hold it above you and say as above.
As above.
As above.
Heel it to the table. Now take the new top card and move it to the bottom and say so below.
So below.
So below.
Perfect. Do it again. As above,
As
As
above.
above.
so below.
So below.
So below.
Keep doing that until you're down to one card. Don't look at it when you're down to one card. As above,
As above.
so
So below.
as
Below.
above,
Above.
so below.
Above. So below.
Above, so below. And eventually we'll be down to one.
Above.
Don't look at it. It's bad
So
luck.
below.
Hold it between your hands when you are
As
done.
above. So below. As above. So below.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm down to one.
Between your hands. And now you're going to say the most profound magic words you will probably ever say.
Abracadabra.
That's a good one. That's a good one. It's actually a combination of Hebrew and Aramaic. It actually means I create as I speak. This one's a little older. It was taught to me by my mentor, Eugene Berger. I won't bog you down to Aramaic pronunciation. We'll just do the English translation. Repeat after me. I give myself permission to be powerful.
I give myself
Give
permission to
yourself
be
permission to
powerful.
powerful.
It's weird to say that after the year we've all just had.
Right?
But this should have worked. Take a look. You should be holding your card in your hand.
I am. Yep.
Holy shit.
And for the listeners who followed along with their cards, it will have worked with them as well. You may keep
That's
that
good.
card as a good luck charm and use it to go forward and create the impossible in your life.
So awesome. So awesome. Okay, before we start wrapping things up, how
Okay.
in the hell did you do that with the Pentagon?
Oh, the Pentagon. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So there's some video of the first part of this story. If you look me up on YouTube or just go to my website, joediamondlive.com. In 2015, on a dare, I was challenged to unlock a radio host's iPhone. And I did, and that kind of went viral in the Wisconsin, Illinois area. I did a lot of events in the coming months, and people who had heard it just came up to me and handed me their phone and said, "Here, guess my passcode." I would just have them think of it digit by digit, and I would steal their passcode. And it's hard because, like, just for example, like, let's say, like, again, going back to the time thing, if someone's thinking of a time, they're thinking of 8:15, and I get 8:51. Well, that's close. It's the digits, just two of them are in the wrong order. But with an iPhone, it either opens or it doesn't.
Right.
You know, so it's a little
Right.
horseshoes and so sometimes the phone I wouldn't get spot on, I'd be off on a digit or so. But when that phone opens, it was very satisfying. And I went back on the radio show a couple months later, and they replayed that clip. This was in May of 2016. They replayed that clip, and they were, talking about all this stuff. And all of a sudden, during the break, they get a phone call from a Washington, D.C. area code. And they answer it, and it's like, the woman answers, she says, "Hi, my name is Sue. I'm calling from the Pentagon." We're like, what? One of the hosts Googles the number. Sure enough, it is an office number for one of the offices at the Pentagon.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, "I have a question for the mind reader." And we're all like, "What's going on here? Do you listen to everyone's conversations or just the radio show? What's up? She's like,
Uh-huh.
no, I grew up in the area and I work in Washington, D.C. now, and I listen to you every morning online. And he said, great. She said, I have a question for the mind reader. I said, okay, Stu, this is Joe Diamond. I can hear you. And she says, do you have to be in the same room with someone to do that iPhone thing, to guess their code? To give you perspective, May of 2016, I don't know if any of you remember this, but every single day in the news, the FBI and Apple computers were in the news because Apple refused to unlock a terrorist cell's iPhone. So I'm being contacted by the Pentagon while nationwide news is about how do we unlock this iPhone.
Oh my Lanta.
Wow.
So I backpedaled because even though I could, I'm not going to say it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Hello,
So I was
Pentagon.
like, well,
I can
you know,
break
I
your
need-
code.
Yeah, I need someone to think of the numbers and send it to me and all that stuff. So I'll tell you what. Let's do something a little similar to that. I don't need to see you for. And it's similar to what I did for you a moment ago, Shay. I took out a deck. I can't remember if I turned it over or just laid it on the table. Had her think of a card, threw it down. Said, okay, Sue, you're thinking of a playing card. And you're in the most secure building on the planet right now, correct? And she said, yes. And I said, but think about it. This card exists only in your mind. You didn't take it out of a deck. It doesn't exist physically. Only exists in your mind, which is the most secure place in the universe. I have one card face down in front of me. I can't change my mind. For the first time, Sue, tell us your card. I'll never forget. It was 2 of diamonds. We turned over the card. It was the 2 of diamonds. I had nailed it. And for the rest of the morning, the host kept saying, oh my God, Joe Diamond hacked the Pentagon. He used his brain. Joe Diamond hacked the Pentagon. Now when the White Panther is definitely going to come for me. So make up that well. But after that happened, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, my career. Like if I get if I pull the audio of this, I put it on my website, I hack the Pentagon, listen to the audio, everything.
Right.
So at the time I was doing my own radio show and I broadcast on Sundays. So like perfect, I will come in on Sunday and when I pull the audio for my show, I'll go into the Will Rock archives and pull the audio from this. And it was in the 8 o'clock hour between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I go in, pull my audio from the show that night. On Sunday night, I go into the Will Rock archives, open it up, and that hour block of audio was missing from the archives.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's the government.
So, even though there's no recorded evidence of it, that said, thousands of people did hear it happen live on the air.
Sure.
So I have thousands of witnesses, even though I don't have it recorded.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Damn government.
They know how to ruin everything.
God damn Pentagon, they ruin everything.
I'm not at liberty to say what I think it is. I can just give you the facts. You all have to make up this.
That's right, exactly. I don't care what I say.
I work for the government.
Yeah.
I don't. I own the network, so I can say conspiracy.
Yep, that's right. Conspiracy theory.
Yep.
All right, so before we start wrapping things up, where can people find you? Where are your shows going to be? Where can they find when you're going to do any virtual ones if they can't get to you, et cetera, et cetera?
I'll announce it here. I am planning, since Halloween is on a Sunday, I am planning on doing a virtual show on Halloween. Maybe a kind of virtual seance kind of thing. That is the plan for right now. Because I think it doesn't matter, people wanting to go out and do stuff live and in person. I think the Friday and Saturday before Halloween, they're going to want to do it, and Sunday they're going to want to stay home. So I'll probably do the thing for staying home, at least then. Whether it's Sunday or not, I am definitely going to continue doing shows virtually. Again, it's great to have friends and fans all over the world now, not just in my little pocket of the Midwest. So that's the best way to know when those are going to be announced is to sign up for my newsletter at JoeDiamondLive.com. It's at the bottom of every single page there. If you want to see me live, my full schedule is there as well, of where I'm going to be in person this summer in Lake Geneva. That said, too, I can't say what this is for quite yet. I did get the ticket slot to Texas Top Secret Filming Project. That will be announced very soon. I say that because, let you know, I am traveling. I have a company party, or I zoom in for company stuff too. But if you have an in-person event, or conference, or anything, this is my full-time job. I've traveled all over the world doing it. I continued all over the world with Zoom. But I also now can travel all over the world now that things are starting to open up. Things are continental U.S. for right now. But if you have an event, like I said, I've done, I've flown into some cities, done a corporate event, or even just a house party for one night and flown back the next day. So if you are looking for something in person, you can find out about that at JoeDiamondLive.com. My social media that I'm most active on is Instagram.com/JoeDiamondLive. I do have Facebook, but I'm at the 5,000 friend limit. So send me a message on Facebook first, and I'll unfriend a couple people so I can act.
I snuck in last week.
But you have a page too,
so,
don't you?
Yeah, I have a page, Joe Diamond, Active Diamond Live on Facebook as well. So that I'm trying to be more active on. It's hard to keep track of it all sometimes, but the website, the newsletter, and Instagram I'm the most active on. And I'm very accessible too. My email is joe@JoeDiamondLive.com as well. So if anyone has any questions about the show or anything else, shoot me a message on Facebook, Instagram, or email, and I'd love to chat.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so before we leave, I like to give shout outs to everybody who was present in chat tonight. I know there was a few that I saw their little bubbles up there. They weren't in chat, but I do appreciate all of you. But the ones that were in chat tonight, we had Matt, Kim, Darren, Nico, myself, we had Shay, we had Mama Deb in there tonight. Thank you to everybody who was in chat. Thank you for everybody who was not in chat but listening. We appreciate each and every one of you. Let's see. Next week, we have our very own Matt Waddell, who is one of the co-owners of Paranormal Buzz Radio, and he's a paranormal investigator. He's going to be on next week. We're going to talk about, he gives me shit. He said he was going to bring up string theory or whatever. He brought up a question in one of our chats.
You do know he knows nothing about string theory. You research for nothing.
That's okay. I don't care. I'm going to blow his mind with some string theory stuff right now.
Actually,
that's why I have 101 questions ready for him.
Actually, he's very smart. It wouldn't surprise me if he does, but...
That's all right. We'll get him good. We'll get him good next week. Yeah. But we'd love to say thank you to our very special guest, Joe Diamond, tonight. The greatest mind reader. I mean, it's freaking awesome.
Show.
I absolutely love that virtual show with you.
Thank you, absolutely. And
yes.
I come back if you ever want to have me back on for like Halloween or something. The answer is yes. I love this. This is a blast.
I'll learn math for the next time.
She'll learn some math. We'll be more together. I'll be able to run the show.
Yeah, exactly. But I love Paranormal Buzz Radio. I've been following all of you for a long time, and I'm just honored to finally be on one of your shows. So thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you all virtually or in person in the very near future.
Yes. You know what? I was just thinking, I'm like, I need to tell my office, like, we need to have you come to our office and do something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to put that in their mind.
I've literally zoomed in for even just 15 minutes for like an office company luncheon type thing, just to kind of break up the day.
I think it's so fun. We have some that are a little, that could use a little loosening up.
I have no words.
With people. Depends on the group. Depends on how weird I'll get. Someone says go for it, go as weird as possible. We'll talk about string theory and parallel universe.
There we go. Yes.
Otherwise, just think of a card and we'll go into all that. But,
that's awesome.
So that would be a blast. Thank you again, all of you.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it. Stay spooky.
Yes, we will. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check out next week's show as well. Peace out, everybody.
Okay.
Adios.